Guys, we got this 2019 Dodge Durango Pentastar. We're doing a lot of stuff. We're doing a full brake job, rotors and pads all the way around. Doing an oil cooler, we're doing spark plugs, valve cover gasket. What else? I forget what else. A lot of stuff on this car. The tire place gave him like a $5,000 quote. So I said, no, bring it to me and we'll do all the stuff. And the stuff they're lying about, we don't have to do. So there you go. I'll show you what I'm doing. So let's do this brakes first. Guys, the brakes are all done, as you can see, and we're going on to the engine side of things. We're doing an oil cooler, valve cover gaskets, spark plugs. Let me show you what we got for parts. Here's a new oil cooler. It does come with the oil pressure sensor, intake gaskets, new bolts. I got valve cover gaskets here. I got some Teflon tape for these fittings. I'm not sure if they already have a sealant on there. I don't know. I'll look at them and see. Some coolant, and then the spark plugs. So that's what we're doing, so let's get into it. All right, guys, new aluminum oil cooler is in. These 5 bolts on it take 9 foot-pounds. What else? I swapped over the OEM sensors for it, and I put a little bit of silicone on this pickup tube, this O-ring right here for the oil filter housing. I put a little silicone on that just to let it slide in easy. And then all these 5 bolts take 8 foot-pounds, 8 or 9 foot-pounds. Obviously torqued in a good sequence, clean off all the surfaces. I also sucked out all the oil and coolant that was in that valley. So let's put this lower intake back on and put it back together. Actually, you know what? I might just do the valve cover and the spark plugs right now. So, all right, guys, here's the valve cover off of this side. So we're gonna go ahead and clean these surfaces. You can see how bad it was leaking, how grimy this is. Clean these surfaces, and then go ahead, put this new valve cover gasket on, spark plugs, put the lower intake back on, and everything else. Put this engine all back together and start it up. Guys, quite a bit later, and everything's done here. Spark plugs, valve cover gaskets, obviously the oil cooler. And just double check, make sure everything's there. I'm gonna leave the plastic beauty cover off, just so I can look at everything, you know, while it's running. You can see the blue there is the new valve cover gasket. Anyway, make sure everything's plugged in. Prime the fuel system, as that fuel rail is going to be empty after you took off the lower intake. And we'll get it fired up. All right, guys, there's the first start. Make sure to clear all your codes and go for a drive, top off the coolant. And there you go.